On the crystal-lit world of Vealoria, marriage was not a matter of love. It was survival. The Valorans believed that the harmony of their species depended on union selection, a sacred ritual where every adult female was evaluated by the Council of Bloodlines and assigned a mate. Compatibility meant strength, fertility, and political balance. Rejection was considered a failure not only of the individual, but of her lineage. Saren stood alone in the center of the selection hall, her silver-blue skin reflecting the floating glyphs of judgment spinning above her head. Hundreds of eyes watched, elders, warriors, scholars, and families, waiting for the council's verdict. The glyphs flickered, then dimmed. A sharp, echoing chime rang out. Rejection. Gasps rippled through the hall. Saren's 4 eyes lowered as the High Arbiter spoke words that would forever change her life. Saren of the Lethari line has failed compatibility thresholds. She is unsuitable for union. Unsuitable. The word burned deeper than plasma.
She was not weak.
She was a xenolinguist, a historian of extinct civilizations, a thinker who asked dangerous questions. But in Veilorian society, intellect without marital value was meaningless. Within hours, her family sigil was removed from the communal towers. Her name erased from registry paths. Friends who once laughed beside her averted their gaze in silence. By sunrise, Saren was escorted beyond the city's radiant domes to the outer expanse, a place reserved for the unbound, the rejected. "You may live," the Arbiter said coldly, "but you will live unseen." The gates sealed behind her with a sound like finality. For cycles, Saren survived alone among the crystalline plains, scavenging energy roots and repurposing ancient tech fragments. Loneliness became her shadow. The stars above Vealoria shimmered mockingly, vast, beautiful, unreachable. She often wondered if the universe even noticed she still existed. Then one night, the sky tore open. Middle. The object fell in a controlled blaze, not a crash, but a descent, fire curving intelligently through atmosphere. Saren watched from a ridge as the craft settled into the plains, its hull scorched, its systems failing. A foreign vessel. A human vessel. Humans were legends on Vealoria. Primitive, emotional, unpredictable, but persistent. They traveled the stars not for conquest, but curiosity. Saren approached cautiously, pulse humming in her throat. The hatch opened with a hiss, and a figure stumbled out, tall, bipedal, wrapped in a damaged exploration suit. He collapsed. Saren hesitated only a moment before acting. She dragged him to her shelter, patched the breach in his suit, and stabilized his breathing with a Veilorian biopulse. His physiology was strange, fragile, yet resilient in ways she didn't understand. When he awoke, he stared at her with wide, astonished eyes. "You're not human," he said hoarsely. "No," Saren replied softly. "And you are not dead. That is fortunate." He laughed weakly. "Guess I owe you my life." His name was Ethan Hale, an exoanthropologist on a solo survey mission. His ship had been damaged by a solar flare while mapping unregistered systems. For the first time since her rejection, Saren spoke freely. She explained Veilorian customs, the selection, the exile. Ethan listened, not with judgment, but curiosity and empathy. "They abandoned you because you didn't fit a formula?" he asked, incredulous. "Yes." "That's insane." Saren tilted her head. "It is order. Order shouldn't erase people." The word struck her harder than rejection ever had. Days turned into cycles. Ethan repaired his ship slowly, scavenging parts with Saren's help. In return, he shared stories of Earth, of flawed societies, broken systems, and people who still chose love despite them. Saren found herself laughing, learning, Feeling seen. One evening, as Valoria's twin moons rose, Ethan asked the question she had both feared and longed for. Why didn't you want the marriage they offered? Saren's voice trembled. Because it would have erased who I am. They wanted obedience, not a mind. Ethan met her gaze. Then they didn't deserve you. Their bond deepened, not through ritual, but through choice. Through shared silence and shared wonder. But Valoria noticed. Energy scouts detected Ethan's ship powering up. The council sent envoys. Saren was summoned. You harbor an outsider, the arbiter said. You violate exile law. He is my guest, Saren replied calmly. A human cannot bond with a Valorian. We are not bonded, she said. We are connected. The council offered her redemption. Accept a new mate. Renounce the human. Return to society. Saren looked at Ethan, standing quietly behind her. For the first time, she did not hesitate. I refuse. Ending. The council's decision was swift and absolute. Permanent exile. But this time, the gates did not close on Saren alone. Ethan stepped forward. She saved my life. And if your society can't accept her, then maybe it's your society that's flawed. The Valoran scoffed. You would abandon your species for her? Ethan smiled gently. I wouldn't be abandoning them. I'd be choosing her. With Ethan's ship repaired, they left Valoria together, rising through the atmosphere as the planet's radiant domes faded into starlight. They traveled beyond mapped space, charting dead worlds, discovering lost ruins, documenting civilizations that had vanished due to rigid traditions not unlike Valoria's. Saren became something unprecedented, a Valorian ambassador of choice. Her research, shared through human networks, challenged long-held galactic beliefs about compatibility and worth. Other species listened. Some resisted. Some changed. Years later, a Valorian signal reached their ship. An invitation. The council had fractured. Younger generations questioned the selection. Rejections had decreased. Exile zones were being dismantled. They asked Saren to return, not as a candidate, but as a voice. She stood once more before the selection hall, no glyphs spinning above her head this time. Just silence. You were wronged, the arbiter said, older now. Weaker. And your absence taught us the cost. Saren looked at the chamber that once condemned her. I did not need your approval to become whole, she replied. But if you wish to change, then change for those who cannot leave. She declined reinstatement. Her home was no longer a single world. As she and Ethan departed once more, hand in hand, Saren gazed at the stars with peace in her heart. She had been rejected, abandoned, and in that abandonment, she found something far greater than marriage. She found belonging by choice, not design. And the universe, vast and watching, remembered her name.